one player, you were writing about him today, and people have picked out the performance of Ryan Baird, who was still only 23, who is... he has won the genetic lottery.
I can't believe he's 23 when you just said that. I was like, Ryan Baird's only 23.
Yeah. I should have thought of that line.
Big man.
The genetic lottery, nice line.
Debuted 2 years ago in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
8 caps in his first year.
Mm-hmm.
As fast as the backs, we hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then 0 caps through all of last year, injury ravaged. And I guess... but for the injury of, you made the point in the paper today, Tadhg Beirne may not have had his chance in Rome, but did get his chance. And there's no doubt that when the Irish coaching ticket have the opportunity to bring him in, they're pretty quick to bring him in. They recognise this guy has a ceiling that most don't. Mm-hmm. You suspect they're going to do everything they can to get this guy on the plane, and maybe, he could be a bolter.
Oh, I wouldn't say a bolter. I'd say he's almost nailed on.
For
the World Cup.
For 23, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know about 23, definitely the squad. And yes, hard to know with everybody being fit, but he has the additional virtue of being a genuine 6, where he started 7 of his 10 games for Leinster this season.
So, even my question, it's funny when I say bolter, I'm like his seat on the plane. I would think so. I'm saying he could really make a late burst.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could.
Starting to.
Like, was the last game before the pandemic first hit, or one of the last games, we got that hat-trick against Glasgow in the RDS, including the 55-metre gallop, whatever it was, for his hat-trick try. Like, we've always known about his extraordinary athleticism, and you could see it even in the way he was chasing restarts. He missed 1 tackle from a long restart by Ross Byrne on Saturday, but he was 10 metres in front of every other Irish player. Like, he was that far ahead of everybody else, and he was brilliant at chasing restarts, putting pressure on Garbisi. But then he's also got that handling skills from being a Gaelic footballer, the lovely little 2 tip-on passes inside in the build-up to that Mac Hansen try. He wasn't used from an Irish line at once, but he made that vital steal, or a very important steal anyway, 5 metres from the Irish line. So he's got so many strings to his bow, and the ability to play both 6 and in the row. Yeah, I mean, he's an extraordinary talent for sure, isn't he? And it's good to see him coming. That was a big day in his career, I thought, last Saturday. A big day in his career. And he was, we interviewed him afterwards, a few of us, and he was buzzing. You could just see he was buzzing. Because unlike the debut 2 years ago, which was behind closed doors, his dad and his 2 brothers were in the ground as well. And that meant a lot more to him, as it always does for players.
He also, I heard that interview, and he acknowledged in so much as a player would, I suppose, Andy, something I had maybe heard around him, which is that, a degree of maturity was required. And that's, we mature at different rates. And he talked about an attitude shift as well of late. And I think in your piece you talk, he's journaling, he's very focused now, he's clued in. So I don't know how highly you rate him or where you think he could go in the short term.
Oh, I'm in the exact same camp as Gerry there, and I like your phrase a lot because I think it encapsulates him. He's a genetic lottery winner. He is. He's not your tip.
How many numbers of the 6 did we all get in the genetic lottery?
Do we have to go there right now? I don't think we'll
get the bonus number at least. Come on,
we can chat about that in the pub, but maybe not live in here.
It's always interesting when
that's depressing thought.
My mind wandered there.
Yeah, likewise.
The 3 of us thinking about our lottery numbers, but no, he. I think it's always interesting to consider super talented, genetically gifted young players, for the reason that at up to about the age of 18 or 19 they're so much better than everyone else, and they tend to have an easy run through. And then they're out in the big bad world, and what happens then is they have to adapt to greater degrees of intensity, greater levels of expectation, probably greater work ethic required to be at the level of dominance that they've had up until a certain age, because that level of dominance doesn't last. Probably Ryan Baird getting a hat-trick in his debut for Leinster, you could argue, I wonder, did it help him? You know what I mean? It probably, who's to say it did? It might have just gone, well, just, normal order, restored here. I got a hat-trick in my debut, that's it. I coached Jack Conan in his first, I picked him for his first All-Ireland League game in Old Belvedere, and you could see Jack Conan at 19 was choosy, about his I suppose his contributions to the game. When he made one, we scored. And then he was walking around, and I'd heard the hype, and he was 19. But we'd a number of chats with him week 3, week 4, week 6. We were like, Jack, you're too talented to be choosy about contributions, and when you go up to the next level, you know, it won't last. You know, so now Jack is super intelligent, and you know, he has the emotional intelligence. He's a great leader. He had that fixed within 3-4 months. So I suspect something similar might have happened Baird in that initial period, where in reality, you know, he's probably surrounded by the likes of Van der Fleer, Doris, now Conan, and he's like, this is what it takes every day. And you know, that's what great environments do, is they check players like Baird, who potentially could maybe take his foot off the gas. He can't.
He was another who spoke about the environment afterwards as well. You know, but the incredible environment that Andy Farrell and the leading players have developed with Ireland. You know, they all clearly love it, so much so that even if they're on the outside of the 23, and far from getting bitchy or moany, they're just doubly more determined, as Baird was, so that when opportunity does knock through misfortune to another, you grasp it with everything you have.
On Conan, I didn't realise you'd worked with him at close quarters, so the point has been made, well, moving Doris from 8 is questionable in the first place. Moving Doris from 8 when Conan's not playing his best stuff is definitely not a good idea. What do you think's happened to Conan post-Lions tour?
I think he's just been overtaken, like in the same lane, by a player who's playing exceptional rugby. I don't think Conan's done anything wrong. I just think Doris has accelerated his levels to a level. It's just hard to think there's a better number 8 in the world at the moment. And that's tough on Conan. It is, but like, he's not done anything wrong. And
I think a player can lose his confidence when he's overtaken like that.
Yeah, I don't think Jack is the type, though. Knowing him, I would have lost my confidence, I can tell you. But there's different people, and you know, again, he's in an environment that the emotional intelligence within that coaching group and the experience they've got, they'll manage that well.
Yeah.
And they'll push the right buttons, I feel, with Jack. And Jack is one of these people with I've heard sports psychologists say, an internal locus of control. He's like, I'm going to manage my response to this. I'm not going to blame coaches or be jealous of an improvement in Doris's game. And Jack could be the type who will just dig in, work harder, do the right things, say the right things. He's diplomatic and he's a natural leader. I just think it's an embarrassment to riches, because I don't see any deterioration in his game whatsoever, in fact.
It's actually even more unfortunate for Gavin Coombs and Max Deegan to be roughly the same age as Caelan Doris. It's like being born the same year as Brian O'Driscoll and deciding you're going to be an outside centre.
Yeah, it's tough. There you go. That was but a taste of the full rugby conversation. As usual, you can get the full chat wherever you get your podcast. It's waiting for you right now.